well, well. Look who showed up. Me? I'm late? No. No. But if I was, you'd have to forgive me. Or else. We are going to be addressing clothing. Now I said addressing clothing instead of making clothing for a reason. Let's just get into it. Hello. Right here we have our tutorial chan looking rather scantily clad. But that is fine, we'll fix that. Well, I'll fix it. The thing is, with clothing, I'm going to be going over a lot of stuff that we've already gone over. So, I don't really need to go over that again. But I am going to give you a lot of tips and advice. First thing we need to know is this body mesh. You can make clothes from it. Quite simply, actually. If we just click on the body and go to modeling, we can, let's say we wanted to make a t-shirt, because that's rather easy. You just have to select certain loops, like this one, this one, this one, this one. Let's just shift and select the rest. Oh, another thing. Yeah, I'll turn on the screencast, but I'll just tell you what I'm doing right now. So you only need like half of this, so don't worry about it too much. I'm gonna shift alt, select this loop, and same here, shift alt. And then I'm gonna shift D, right click once, P, separate, selection, layout, bodice. Go to the material tab down here, which is material properties. Click on that. Let's get rid of this skin texture, and look at that. What's happening here? Let me turn on screencast again. I'm going to edit mode this time. Let's B to box select. Select just behind this blue line. Zoom in. Let's see if you selected everything that you wanted. Yes. X, delete vertices. And then we're going to go over here to the modifier properties and add our favorite thing in the world, a mirror modifier with clipping on. If you want to test if it's actually snapping to the center or not, you can move this around, preferably without proportional editing on, so you can just see this line whether it's moving or not, and it's not, which is great. Now from here, we can do all sorts of things. First, we can get rid of these shapes here and then this shape here, so we can flatten everything out. Because t-shirts don't cling to your skin like that. They kind of drape over it, which wouldn't be very hard with this. Let's first select all with A, and then Alt, S, and scale it out a little bit. Like that, just so you don't see the skin clipping through. Just double tapping A. Here's one way to get rid of this line. Do that. X, dissolve edges. So you see this is a straight line. And this is a straight line. And this one too. Just gonna get rid of this one. X, dissolve edges. So straight, straight, and then this one wants to go straight down but isn't. Well, that's fine. So I'm just, whoops, oopsie daisy, just double tapping G and dragging these up. Dragging these down. And these ones, I'm going to dissolve this. X, dissolve edges. Double tap A, K, click that. Bring it over, space, K, click that. Bring it over, space. let's see. Gonna bring these lines straight down. So X, dissolve edges. Double tap A, Control R. 2 loops there. K. Cut there to there. K. Cut there to there. That's the belly button shape removed. You do a similar thing with the chest. I personally just grab that. X, delete edges. Wait, no. X, delete vertices. L, X, delete vertices. And then I'd select this edge. F to make a face. Let's hide the body for a second. And let's hide X-ray for a second. I'd start by connecting some of these up. Let's do vertically first. And then these are all fine. Just gonna shift, select these corner edges and grab my smooth tool and try and smooth this out. So immediately it flattens out, which is what you want. That's what you want. You can grab this and pull it forward with proportional editing. So now you have like a sloping shape instead of what you had before. Of course you'd edit this so it would fit the chest better. Like that kind of thing. And then you could go on to then say for example you go into sculpting and you smooth some things out, or you inflate some things. Example, that'd be good if you want the sleeves to stick out more. You could do that there, or like this area. It does kind of look balloony, so I'd be careful with that tool. So that's one way to make clothes. Of course, you'd add a material to it and add whatever texture you want to it. So yeah, it's as easy as just grabbing a text from the internet, throw it in your shading, and you have a jeans top, even though it looks terrible. You could even paint over this if you really wanted to. I'm just gonna show you some examples of clothes I made using this method. I'm gonna delete this actually because it means nothing to me. Here's a top made using the same method, and what else do we have? A skirt. This actually isn't made using that method. This is just modeling. So if we select that skirt and go into edit mode, you'll see that it's just shifty E, extrude, Control R, do that, and then shaping it however you want to, like that for example. That's basically how I made that, except of course it's a circle that goes around the waist. This can be made using, let's say, a cube, or just control clicking and making vertices like that. A cylinder even. I didn't really go over it much, but yes, you can insert shapes just by going through this and then editing the values or however you want to. What else do we have here? A hat that was also made with actually that was made from a cube that was subdivided. Swimsuit. One of the times where I actually don't clean up the vertices with that. Edit mode. Yeah, this hasn't been edited much at all. It has a little bit here actually, now that I look at it. And the back. If you don't know how to make clothes like this, just from making this whole model and stuff, then I'm very surprised. Here's the tracksuit. Another thing that you can do instead of modeling everything is I could drag in an avatar from here. Let's grab one of my avatars. And then we go to edit mode, select, wait, actually A, and then select that, and then Control I, select the inverse, delete, these. Don't need the hair. You know what? I don't even want the armature here at the moment. Let's hide this for a moment and just select the parts that we want. P, separate by selection, object mode. So this I'm going to delete, this I'm going to delete, and this I'm going to click on that, then click on that, Control P, armature default, and then it should be here. Let's hide that, show the body, let's try and fit this onto it, so you should be able to do that in object mode. With this you just have to, I guess, turn on symmetry for one, and just try your best to keep this in place that makes sense. So her knees are actually a bit further down. Let's try and bring that down. It's mainly just warping the material so it fits the model as you wish. This is, say, if you found a model online with an outfit that you liked and you wanted to copy it over to your particular mesh. Actually, forget the socks. Let's not bother about the socks. At this point, I would try and get this as symmetrical as possible, and the only way you could really do that is just by deleting her off. Let's have a look at this first. Before we do that, before doing anything, I'd Control A, all transformations, Control A, rotation and scale. That should help with some stuff. Also, I'm just delete the shape keys. Delete all shape keys. Edit mode. B. Select just behind the blue line, just behind. Oh, before we do that, L P. See how it doesn't move this time? Control A. And then applying all the transformations. X, delete vertices. Add mirror with clipping on. And then we can go into sculpting, and with the inflate tool we can, we can fix this up. Easy as that. I have my strength very low for the inflate tool because I don't want to be moving large sections at once. Here. It's all good. It's just that when you are exporting this model, you're going to need to make sure you delete any materials that you're not using. And rename it if you need to as well. You're gonna need to keep track of all the materials you use, because you're gonna need to import that into, say, Unity, for example. What else about clothes do we need to know? Right. Since we've got this, you'll see that it's actually useless when it comes to posing. First, let's apply this. No, let's apply that first. And then pose. Whoa, look at that! It's not stuck to the model. Here's what we do. We're gonna go to the outfit that you made. Oh, actually, let's join these back together since I've applied. Control. Wait. Oh, is it still in pose mode? Yeah. This one. Control click. Control J. That's all in one. We can add a modifier. Data transfer, source bodice, or whatever your body is called, vertex data, vertex group, generate data layers, and then apply. Then we can go to pose mode, and crazy. It's like you did all that hard work rigging the model, and it's all working nicely. This is quite baggy clothing, so shouldn't have too many clipping issues. And so far it doesn't really look like it. I guess here there's a little bit. And the bow moves a little weird, so you'd have to go back in and fix that. What else? That moves really nicely. This one too. There's clipping here, which there usually is. You can spend a lot of time fixing that, or you can do something what I'm gonna show you. She looks like such a mom in these clothes, don't you think? Another thing with clothing, you don't need to worry about clipping too much. If you do one of two things, or both. The first thing being deleting anything that's not going to be visible. So we don't even see this part of the body. So why should we worry about trying to hide it when clipping occurs? You could just go in with edit mode and can select these and just delete them. But don't make sure you save a copy of the file first, because you don't just save a copy of the file. So you could go into all this area and just delete anything that isn't visible. I'd still leave a like, instead of deleting like this, so there's just that line there, I'd still leave a little bit. So I wouldn't delete so far down. Delete maybe up here or even higher, especially if there's no clipping. But yeah, you don't need all this stuff that you're not going to see anyway. The only reason not to delete it is if you were, say for example, you had a model that would change the clothes out really often. So you'd want to show as much, you'd want to keep as much of the body intact as possible. Another thing is moving the material further away from the body. I'm trying to see if there's a good example of this, but these trousers are rather far away from the body anyway. I guess I guess here you can kind of see there a little bit. So that's probably rather close to the clothing, if you can see it sticking out a little bit. So to stop clipping, things that help is moving the clothes further away from the body, so there's more space for it to move and adjust. When it comes to, say, importing your model into VRchat, there's a few things that you need to do. First is you can't have this many layers. You need to join them into a layer that says body. Now I have demonstrated this before, so I'm just gonna verbally go over it. I think I did it in the shape keys and testing video. Let's say we wanted this outfit. We'd grab this, grab people's, grab the bodice, and then lastly grab the head. Let's do an example. I'm gonna save this first. So this, control click, control click, control click, control J, and and the hair as well. Yes, so body, that's body. I'd get rid of all these, because don't need them. Get rid of that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Anything you don't need. Before you upload, your file's gonna look a bit like this. You need to make sure nothing is broken when you're moving this, and if it is, you need to go through. Well, you need to undo first, so don't save after you've joined all of these. Make sure you save before you join anything and test stuff first before saving again. Since this is working, you file, export, FBX, upload to VRchat or something, and see if you like it. I'm going to revert to my last save, which is here before I applied all of those. Yeah, that's how you test your avatar. You'd upload it through Unity. I didn't want to do an in-depth clothes tutorial because if you know how to make a body, you can make clothes, especially if you're just duplicating some of the mesh that you've already made. I don't really have anything else to go over. Let's consider something else, right? Let's say you really do not want to get rid of the body mesh underneath the clothing. What are you gonna do if it's still clipping? Weight paint, my friend. A very painful session of weight painting is what. Let's see if I can help any of the clipping with weight painting. I'll do my best at it. I usually don't go through this because there's rarely a point where there's a point to do it. There's rarely a time where there's a good reason to do it. I'm just gonna make sure X mirror is on. Let's see, RX. Let's bring this up. Let's do this kind of thing. It's kind of hard to do it without a little bit of trial and error. Okay, so this hips bone was taking control of too much of this part of the model, which is why it dipped in like that. And you've also got to understand as well that a lot of the time this won't have a similar mesh to the models that you're making. So you might have to add a loop here or there, or take away. I don't really see where that would be useful, but maybe. So I'm just adding more strength to the hips so it doesn't pull through the butt. What else do we need here? I guess less. Oh wait. Subtract. This is looking a lot better. I'm not doing paint through just because I want to have a little bit more control of where everything is going. I think at this point it's probably a good idea to bring this leg down. RX. I'm not quite sure where that is coming from. This is why I try to avoid doing these things, because it can be very confusing and not always worth the trouble. Subtract. That's looking a lot better, and the leg is still not moving quite right. RX. Something's being pulled up. I see. I think maybe subtract here a little bit more. Okay, that's miles better than what it was before. So yeah, if you really didn't want to delete the body mesh underneath, you'd have to go in and make sure everything is weight painted in a way that doesn't let the skin poke through. You can only really think of it as what doesn't have enough control and what needs more control and what needs less control as well. So a lot of the times this is dipping in here. It was just a matter of making the hips grab that so it's in the default position instead of moving with this leg when the leg moves. I guess like that it's not perfect because rotating at certain angles will get it to like stick out again, and you can't really do much about that except for keep weight painting it until it gets to a point where you're happier with it. But trousers are always going to be a difficult one. When things start twisting like that, it's gonna probably clip, because that's kind of hard to keep perfect. But that's how you deal with clipping. You'd have to do that all over the body, and you'd have to check it from all sorts of angles. I try to avoid this wherever I can, because it's very long and tedious and not always worth it. This is the main important stuff. Hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. I think it's fair to say this is the end of the series. I don't think I need to go over testing again, since it's basically the same as before. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, class. Make sure to show me all the cool outfits you made. And also, I still need to do the overview videos, which I've been putting off. So yeah, I see you around or not. I don't know. Hello.